Hello children, good morning everyone. This is your Priya ma'am, your English teacher from Alpha Group of Institutions. And today we are going to revise for periodic test. So what are the questions for your periodic test children? So one unit fully. In the first unit you have one prose and two poems. So overall this is first unit. The prose is a letter to God and the poem is Dust of Snow, Fire and Ice. There are two poems by Robert Frost. Is it so? Dust of Snow and Fire and Ice. And the writing and grammar parts are like passage comprehension, models, reality, formal and informal letters. And not only these things, children, apart from this, we may ask you some more grammar part like gap filling. Like it is very easy. No need to teach you also. We will give the options and you have to find the right option and fill the gaps like fill-ups. And these models and reality also, the exercises will be given for you in very varieties of exercises we are having, right? So let us talk about this later. Okay. Now let us see here. I'll just give a gist for you. It means I will summarize you these three lessons. So those who have missed the previous classes or those who have not followed the whole lesson, I will just summarize these three here so that you can recollect the content. CBSE pattern is we will not give any questions from the book bag. We will give the questions everything from the content and not the book bag questions. The questions will be related to the lesson which we have taught you. But only the classwork content and textbook pattern we will not ask you. We will ask some old questions which is related to the topic. So that you have to, for that you should be ready to answer any sort of questions. And to answer these questions, what you have to do? You have to be thorough with the content. Okay. The first one is a letter to God. In that a letter to God, what we have discussed, there was a poor farmer Lencho, and that year he has a small agricultural land, and that year he had that corn field in that land, and he was expecting for a rain, so that he was expecting more amount of money this year because the growth of the crops are very superb, excellent. So he was expecting more money this time in the market when he sells it. So only one shower of rain is enough for that crop to give the yield. So when he was waiting for that, suddenly rain also But the next day the farmer came. After 1 week the farmer came, Rancho came to the post office to receive the money because he was sure that God will send him money. And when he came here, he got the letter envelope from God. But he was not surprised because he knows that God will send him. That much faith he is having on God. And once he had opened the money and said there were only 70 rupees. Immediately he got angry, his eyebrows were shaken, and he went to the post office and again he took one envelope and writing a letter. Everybody were watching him. They were thinking that okay, we all have helped him. I think he will be very happy with that. But on the contrary, what happened is he got very angry and disappointed and wrote another letter to God that God, I have asked you 100 rupees, but you have sent me only 70 pesos. Not you have sent me. I have asked you 100 pesos, but what I have received is only 70 pesos. I need the remaining amount also. I need the remaining amount also because this 70 pesos is not enough for me. But one thing, God, don't send money to this address because the employees in this post office are stealing my money which you are sending to me. The fact is all the employees share their money to him to help this farmer, but what he is thinking is God has really sent the money, but the employees of the post office have stolen his money. So he wrote that letter and again posted it and he left. This is what his immature mind. Okay, this is the story about the letter to God lesson. Okay. Now coming to the poem, there are two poems. These two poems, Dust of Snow and Fire and Ice, was written by Robert Frost. First, let us summarize the Dust of Snow. Dust of Snow is written by Robert Frost. The whole theme of the poem is here in this poem. The poet wants to convey us that even a single memory, even a single moment, even a single just simple action can change one's mindset, one's emotion, one's situation. So one day what he was thinking, he was trying to convey as through this poem is one day the poet is passing through or sitting under a hemlock tree. Look here children, hemlock tree is a very poisonous tree. Each and every part in the tree is very poisonous. And grow in our humankind, in our mankind, we think crow as a bad luck. Is it so? Crow as a bad luck? Crow is something which we intend it as a bad thing. Okay. So poisonous tree and the crow both are bad things. And that day that poet was also in the very bad mood, very dull mood. Something has happened to him. So he is very dull and he is very upset. So he is comparing his bad mood with that crow. Okay, that is why he was taking that crow for the example. When he was passing through the tree or when he was sitting under the tree, you can take it like anything. Suddenly the crow shook the branches of the hemlock tree. Maybe it is shaking its body, or maybe it is just clearing up its feathers, or maybe it's about to jump, about to fly from the branch. Somehow the dust of snow, the small powder form of snow has fallen on the poet. Immediately when he saw that scenario of small particles of snow falling like twinkling stars, immediately that situation, that moment he had changed his mind. He was actually very sorrow mind, but immediately he felt something very happy, something light-hearted And somebody is saying that the coldness, the earth is going to become very cool after some years, some thousands of years, and we are going to freeze in it and we are going to die. So that only we are just searching for a living place in the planet Mars. Is it so? That is the reason the scientific said. But in the human mind, we are also having two ways which can end our life. That is either by fire or ice. It means the fire is compared with what? Hatred and anger. And the ice is compared with jealous and desire. If a man has this fire and ice qualities, or like the hatred, jealous and these type of emotions, definitely either fire or ice will make us to cause self-destruction. We will destroy ourselves. To overcome this, and we are not saying that the poet is not saying we must not have any such emotions or feelings. But what is the theme of this poem is that he wants to convey is everybody will have that sort of emotions in our heart and mind. Everybody will have that sort of what we can say. Everybody might have experienced all this jealous, angry. It is natural for a human being, right? But what he is saying is we can have it, but we have to control. We must have a control over those emotions. If we control our emotions, then we will lead a happy life. But if we fail to control these emotions start ruling us, and it will suppress us and it will end us, it will destruct us. So these emotions like fire and ice, both are totally opposite. Fire is opposite and ice is totally opposite from fire. Fire kills a man immediately, whereas ice kills a man slowly and steadily. But the result is death, self-destruction. The same way, the comparison of emotions of like anger and desire, hatred and jealousy also kills the man either on spot or kills means destroys our character, destroys our name and fame. Whereas these jealous and desire also will kill us slowly. So the conclusion of this poem, the fire and ice, is that we have to have a control on our emotions. Else if we fail to control our emotions, these emotions will rule us and make a self-destruction to a human mind. So this is all about the summarization of a letter to God, dust of snow and fire and ice. So writing part and grammar is models, passage comprehension, formal and informal letters. For models there is a big tabular folder, and that thing I have sent we have joined another video along with it. In that model tabular column and the mind map of the model was also taught in a short way. We have already given you last week itself. You have received that, right? What the models video. You can go through that, or else in this video also we have just recollected main points of models. How to write formal letter and informal letter, to whom to write, the format and a sample letter also we have given here. Go through that. Okay, rearranging words models, we will do like a passage writing or a question format, or else like a filler, or else like a choose. You have to be ready to answer any sort of questions which were given for all these passage comprehension, models and rearranging. Okay children, so thank you. And let us continue with the grammar and the writing part. Okay.
So now let us revise the models. Okay. So in models, what are models children? Models are helping verbs. Models are auxiliary verbs, and models helps the real verb. Model supports the main verb. Okay, without models, the main verb only some main verbs can be used without models, but 90% of the main verbs needs the support of the models. Okay, and these models they cannot work individually. Okay, the model is means this is the first verb in a verb phrase. This is the first verb in a verb phrase. and this supports the main verbs. So these are modal verbs. Negatives are, see, look at the positive and negative: can, can't, could, couldn't, would, wouldn't, must, mustn't, should, shouldn't. And these are neutral: might, mightn't, may not. Okay. Now let us revise fastly about the modals. So these modals do not have any inflection. They do not change with the change in the subject, tense, voice or number. It means the spelling of the modals, these modals can, could, should, might, these will not change if the subject changes. If the male or female changes, the subject is whether it is a male or a female or neutral, or else if it is a non-living thing, yet whatever it may be, the modal spelling will not change. It will remain the same. Even if the number, if it is a plural or singular also, it will not change. Whether the change of voice, active voice or passive voice, or also whether the tenses, past tense, present tense, future tense, whatever changes, these modals will not change. Okay. Let us see what are the modals, what are their uses and what are their examples. In the last session we have discussed about modals only, right? So I will be giving a short recap on modals so that you will be understanding clearly. And for your exam, we may give you the modals as fillets or choose, or filling a paragraph like a gap filling. You have to fill the paragraph using the modals, or else we will just ask the uses or what are the examples of can or what are the examples of may. So exercises will vary, but the topic will be the same. So you have to be prepared to answer any sort of questions we are going to give in the examination. For that, you need to understand first how many modals are there, what are all the modals list and their uses and the situations where that modal can be used. For example, if we take a request, can and cannot can be used. Could and couldn't also used. But the situation where we have to use can and could, you have to understand according to the situation. Okay. Now can, look here, can and cannot will be used in the to show the express the ability, asking permission, a request or offer. And also he can write with, examples are like he can write with both hands, showing the ability. Can I borrow this book is like asking permission, and request is like can you please talk softly, and offer is like can I help you with this project. So for all the things I have given the examples here, children, the thing is you have to know the uses, right uses for the right modal. Okay. Could, couldn't or could not. Could not or couldn't can be used to ask permission, request, suggestion, possibility or probability or past ability. And this is another list of modals. May can be used to request or offer or permission, possibility, probability and wish. If you are working through the exercises, you can refer these examples, children. And might can be used in to express the possibility or probability in future. Listen carefully. May we will use here now, but might will be used to show the probability which will happen in future. Okay. And now will or will not or won't. Will or will not or won't. This is used to express the intention, request, prediction and also promises. So examples are like I will not go to the store today. Will you get me a glass of water? It will be a cloudy day today for the prediction. Prediction means suspecting. Like you are just getting to know that you have an idea that it will happen. It comes under like prediction. Okay. And I will call you back at the earliest. Now would would not, or wouldn't. Where will you use that? For permission, request, invitation, checking preferences. Okay. Like, look, checking preferences means, wouldn't you like to order Chinese food? To know about their priority, to know about their preferences. If you want to check the preferences of your fellow being, you can use would. Okay. Would, wouldn't. This will be used for, there will be a slight confusion between would of children. Would will be used for permission, request and invitation. Invitation is, would you like to, if you want to ask someone to, or if you want to request, not request, if you want to invite someone for any occasion, you can use would. Like, would you like to join us for dinner? Would you like to come with me in my bike? Or would you like to join us for a movie? Like that you can invite someone. Okay. That is the usage of would not or wouldn't. Okay. Next. Shall not. This will be used to offer, to express offer or suggestion. And should not, shouldn't. This will be used for the recommendation and advice. And out to, not out to. This is equally for like a have to or have not to. Okay. This is used to express the advice or probability. And must not or mustn't means this will be used for the obligation or necessity. Need to, need not or needn't can be used to express the necessity, compulsion and insistence. Okay. Now has, have to, do not have to or don't have to is also for the necessity and obligation. Okay. Now, if you see the mind map, a small mind map for the models, all the tabulation what I have given in the tabular column is in a single page. This alone will be very useful for you to answer the models. Take a screenshot of this and try to work out by using this mind map. Okay. Now, if you see here, all we can see like wish, future time, like advice, request and offers, assumption, natural propensity, promise or threat, possibility, suggestion, obligation, compulsion, insistence, predictions, willingness, instruction, ability, permission and probability. If you see here, maximum has covered like can, could, should, will, shall, may, might, would, out to, okay, and need and need not, need to, have to, everything has covered in one mind map. And also the uses and where you have to express these models were given here. Okay. I think you have understood a short recap of these models, children. And now let us discuss about the letter writing. Okay. Children, let us discuss about the formal letter and informal letter. So first let us know the differences between the formal letter and informal letter and how to write and to whom to write. Okay, this side all these are like formal letters and this is for informal letters. Formal letters is a letter scripted in the formal talk in the stated format for official purpose. It means the formal letter will be a very simple, easy to understand, simple words will be written in that, but that letter will be written to someone third person for business purpose, official purpose. So usually we write formal letters for some business people or government authorities. Okay. We students, we will write letter to whom? For principal letter. Okay. To the principal letter. Sorry, to the principal or for director sir. Right. And informal letter. A letter written in a friendly way to someone you know with is called an informal letter. It means informal letters will be written to your close friends or family members or relatives. So like someone whom we feel as if they are very close to us, we write them an informal letter. So for someone who maintain a respect, to whom we maintain a respect and a distance, and someone to whom we don't know, we are not such close to them, and only we talk to them only the official purpose. For such people, we will write these formal letters. Okay. Now let us check into the format. Format is this formal letter will be written in the prescribed format only. It means formal letters will have a prescribed format, will have a structure. That format only we have to write for all the officials. Either it may be an editor, either it may be a principal, or it may be some collector, police officers, post office, some whomever. Okay. But the format should be maintained the same in the formal letters. But here, no prescribed format. It means there are no rules to follow a format for writing informal letter, because we are writing to our own close relatives or friends. So there are no rules to be followed to write a formal letter. Okay. And objectives. There should be a professional communication. Professional means the way of using words, the way of we communicate with them through the letters or mail should be professional. We must not add any personal things. We must not take lenience for writing the letter. So we should maintain a professional communication, like using the base words and respectable words. And here personal communication means we can use, we can write pages and pages, whatever we are thinking, whatever we are experiencing, and what we want to tell in direct, we can write each and everything, even though the words, whatever we would like, we can write in the informal letters. Okay. Next one is contractions and abbreviations. Contractions, for example, now in WhatsApp you are using YO, your, right? We are contacting as how, like you are your. There are many shortcuts, no? F4 for means we are writing just 4, we are typing 4. There are many shortcuts we are using. But these abbreviations or shortcuts, I mean contractions, the shortcuts of usage of words is not allowed in the official purpose, in the formal letters. We should write in a full form only. Nothing should be written in a short form. So abbreviations and contractions should be avoided in the formal letters. And here we can use, as we have said, we have discussed, like personal communication can be like, we can write whatever we think, whatever we want to express in the same way. When we are writing a more content, if we feel that the short forms or shortcuts are needed to add in this letter, we can use these contractions and abbreviations. Okay. Next, a formal letter. How it is written? A formal letter writes in the first person, business letter, third person, some others. So this is like written to the formal letters. We write to the business letters, third person, some other people. But here first person, second or third person, whomever it may be, we can write. Okay. And here, I mean, we have a format of writing in the first person or second person and third person, to whom, to where we have to segregate the places, right? But here in the first person, the business letters only. Third person, we have to write some others. Here no options. We can use whatever we need. And then written to whom we have to write these letters? Business, colleges, institute or employer, organizations, etc. But here we use these letters to write to friends, family, acquaintances, relatives, etc. Okay, we write these letters to friends, family and relatives. And sentences, the way of usage of sentences, the way of writing sentences is, this should be short and simple, and the formal, here it is wrong children. It should be very, like, it should not, it's short and simple, but the matter should be delivered very easily. Here we can write, there are no such things to follow. Not short and simple, not long and complex. What we need to convey, we can convey. Okay. And here the size of the letter should be, this should be very concise. We must not write pages and pages for official, for someone third person. Why should we write so many pages? As he is an official, he has so many works to do. They will not look over, read all our pages. So the letter should be very concise, short and crisp. But here, for informal letter, large or concise, we can write a very big letter, or we can just write, hello friend, come to my house tomorrow or next week, bye. Like that also, within 1 to 2 sentences we can complete the sentence, we can complete writing the letter, or we can write pages and pages of letters. Okay. So this is the basic difference and the main differences between the formal letter and informal letter. Now let us look here. This is the format of the formal letter. First you have to write sender's address. The address and contact details of the sender are written. It means if you are writing letter, your address and phone number, everything should be mentioned. Next, leave one space, one line space, write date. And again, leave one line space, write receiver's address. To whom you are writing, their address you have to write. And then again you have to leave one space, leave space, then subject of the letter. What is the main purpose of the letter? That should be written in one line only, not more than one line. Okay. Salutation, sir or respected sir or madam, something to whom you are writing, whether it is a male or a female. Whether they are a male or a female, you can write according to that. Next, body of the letter. The matter of the letter is written here. It is divided into 3 paragraphs. It means body of the letter should be divided into 3 paragraphs. First one is, you have to introduce yourself and the purpose of writing the letter. So, who you are and why you are writing this letter. Second paragraph should be the detail of the matter. The purpose is the what you want to write. That purpose should be written in detail so that that person will be understanding that. But that should not exceed too long. Okay. Next, third paragraph is, you have to conclude it by mentioning what you expect from the editor. So, in the third paragraph, you have to conclude it what you are expecting. First one is, that person will not know who you are. You have to introduce yourself and why you are writing that letter. The second paragraph, the purpose of the letter should be written in detail. You have to write in very detail. And third paragraph, because of that purpose, what you need, what you are expecting from them, that you have to conclude in the third paragraph. Okay. Next. After that, leave one space. And then complimentary closing, thanking you sir, you have to write. Then sender's name, signature and designation. So this is the format. Letter to the editor. Okay, Gandhinagar is a thickly populated locality inhabited mainly by working class people. So unfortunately there is no Amul milk booth in the locality. It means you are writing a letter to the editor for the Hindustan News. Okay, so like people requesting to open a milk booth. So here your name and your address also has given in the letter. Sometimes they will give in what name they are asking you. You have to mention the same name. You must not write your own name. Okay, they are not given any option. Then you can add your names. And here look, this is from address, date, to address, subject and salutation. Body of the letter here, I am Shobha, residing in Gandhinagar, introducing yourself. And I am writing to you in order to raise an issue of the absence of a milk booth. For what you are writing this in a one letter. And second paragraph is the main purpose of the letter, and last paragraph is, so here you are requesting to highlight it to your newspaper so that the Amul authorities are sensitized towards it. So you are asking the newspaper people to take the action. This is the third paragraph conclusion. And thanking you, yours sincerely, Shobha. Is it clear, children, now? Now let us discuss about the informal letter. So this is the format of informal letter. Here, first you have to write your address and with date, and writing the letter with date, you have to write a date, salutation. Here no need to write two address from address, or just your address is enough. No need to write two address. Salutations, body of the letter. Body of the letter, anything, these three things, it's not a rule to follow, just an option for you to follow. Like you can write in brief about the purpose of writing, or you can write in detail about the purpose, conclude. It is not a rule, it is not a compulsory format, it's your wish to write. And at the last, no thanking you, not just write with love, or if yours affectionately, yours lovingly. Okay. This is a complimentary closing. Later you have to write your name, then complete the letter. So this is very easy, right? CBSE informal letter format. And this is an example for informal letter. So here also they are giving your name. If you are a boy, you can write Abhinav, or if you are a girl, you can write your name as Akriti. They are not, they didn't give, if they have not mentioned any name there, you can write your own name. Okay. Write a letter to your friend describing your boarding school in about 120 to 150 words. They are requesting you to write about the boarding school. So you are writing a letter to your friend about your school. Here look your address. Okay. And date. March. Okay. Address and date. And this is your friend's name. No two address here. Directly you can write your friend's name. And all the body of the letter, like have you been, how have you been, I hope my letter finds you in best of health and spirits. It has been almost a month since I transferred to the boarding school. I am very happy in my new school. The classes and the dormitories are very spacious. So they are writing about the, explaining about the beauty, about their school, about your school. Later, the conclusion is like, I believe in my life here will be very interesting and enjoyable. Although I have made many new friends, I still miss you. Like the conclusion lines, he is conveying that he is missing his friends. Okay, and he would like to convey his regards to his parents, his friends' parents. So the concluding lines, everybody will follow the same thing, right? And later, no thanking you and all, you are sincerely or you are lovingly, whether it's a boy or Abhinav, a girl, Akriti. So this is a simple format of letter writing, children, formal letter and informal letter. Now let us discuss about the passage writing. Passage writing means how you will write, children. So a passage will be given, from that passage question answers will be given. Okay. And now in that passage, the three main rules to understand a passage writing is, first thing is, the first three lines of a passage tells us about what the letter is. Okay. Then the last three lines of the passage will tell you what is the moral of the story, or what you have learned from the passage, or what you will learn from the passage. So the first three lines of a passage will say about what is the passage, and the last three lines will give what is the conclusion of the passage, of the content, and the body of the passage will tell how it started and how it is going to end. So this is the three basic rules in a passage. First, you have to divide the passage into three. The first paragraph or first three lines will tell you about what the paragraph, that the content is, and the last passage or the last three lines will tell you how it is ending, and the body of the content will be explaining you how it started and how it is going to end. And the other thing is you have to underline the a new word. If you feel a word which is like something different, new vocabulary, rather than like if I'm using a word as convey, tell your parents means I will say that convey your parents. So I'm replacing tell word tell with convey. Like that, if you are finding some any different vocabularies or new words, immediately underline those words while reading the passage, because some synonyms or antonyms, something will be asked in the passage questions, in the following questions regarding that new vocabulary, that new word. So all the questions will not come exactly from the passage. These new words will be highlighted and asked in a different way, twisted and asked in a different way. Like I told like tell or convey, the same way. What is the synonym for tell in that passage, or what is the antonym for convey, or else convey means telling. What is the antonym for don't tell? Find a new word from the passage. So like that, different types of questions will be asked in the CBSE format, in a twisted format. All the answers will be in the passage only, but the questioning format, the format of questioning will be in a twisted thing. Okay. So I want you to read the passage first once. You will get a knowledge of about what it is. The second thing is, now again read one by line, understand each and every line and a word, then you will be within seconds you can complete writing the passages. Okay children, so this is all about the passage reading. So now we have discussed about models, letter writing and passage comprehension. Okay children? Yes. Hope you will learn very well at home. Presentation is very important. We will be taking the presentation also into the consideration. Handwriting should be very neat, and underline the headings and draw a line after writing each and every question. Okay. Mention the date, your name and everything properly. Draw the margins clearly, and then after writing the examination, present the paper without damaging it. Okay children. So all the best for your exams, and this is your Priya ma'am signing off from Alpha Group of Institutions. Thank you children.